Are the temple of God, the Bible also predicts a rebuilt temple in Jerusalem where the Antichrist will say that he is.
Do you believe the new temple could be built on the Temple Mount?
The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem has long been one of the world's most iconic and mysterious sites. Its breathtaking architecture and deep historical significance have drawn people from all walks of life. But now, a shocking discovery beneath the dome has sent ripples through the archaeological community. Reports suggest that a previously unknown subterranean chamber has been found, one that may date back to the early Islamic era. Inside, researchers have uncovered objects and inscriptions that could reshape our understanding of the site's origins. What was the purpose of this hidden chamber? Who built it? And why was it concealed for so long? Could this discovery reveal long-lost secrets about the Dome of the Rock and its significance? Stay tuned as we uncover the truth behind this astonishing find.
It's a key element of biblical prophecy involving the return of Jesus Christ to the earth, building a third temple in Jerusalem. Now there's a movement in Israel to make it happen.
The Dome of the Rock stands as one of the most iconic and debated structures in the world, captivating historians, archaeologists, and religious scholars alike. As new discoveries about this monumental shrine come to light, its historical and spiritual significance continues to grow, drawing attention from people of all backgrounds. Despite the wealth of knowledge available, many questions remain unanswered, adding to the intrigue and mystery surrounding this sacred site. The construction of the Dome of the Rock dates back to the late 7th century CE, during the reign of the Umayyad ruler Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan. This architectural marvel, known in Arabic as Qubat al-Sakhra, holds the distinction of being the oldest surviving Islamic monument. Situated in the heart of Jerusalem, it occupies a central place on an elevated plaza known to Muslims as Al-Haram al-Sharif, or the Noble Sanctuary. For Jews, this location is revered as the Temple Mount, the sacred ground where the first and second temples of Jerusalem once stood. The site has been a focal point of religious and political significance for thousands of years, and its layered history continues to be a subject of extensive study. For Muslims, the Dome of the Rock is deeply connected to the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous night journey, known as the Isra and Miraj. According to Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad was transported from Mecca to Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is located at the southernmost edge of the same plaza where the Dome of the Rock stands. From there, it is believed that he ascended to heaven, encountering God in an event of profound spiritual significance. Because of this association, Al-Aqsa Mosque is sometimes used as a general term for the entire sanctuary, including the Dome of the Rock itself. While the Dome of the Rock is an early example of Islamic architecture, its design and decorative elements are heavily influenced by Byzantine artistic traditions. The structure is based on an octagonal foundation, with a central dome crafted from gilded wood. The dome, which measures approximately 65 feet in diameter, rests on a raised drum supported by 16 piers and columns arranged in a circular formation. Surrounding this inner circle is an octagonal arcade composed of 24 additional piers and columns. The outer octagonal walls, each measuring around 60 feet in width and 36 feet in height, help create the shrine's distinctive silhouette. Beneath the central dome lies a section of exposed sacred rock, enclosed by a railing. A natural cave beneath the rock can be accessed via stairs, further adding to the site's mystique. The building's numerous windows, both in the dome and on the outer walls, allow natural light to illuminate its interior, enhancing its spiritual ambiance. The Dome of the Rock is adorned with elaborate decorations, including marble, mosaics, and metal plaques. Unlike Byzantine churches, which frequently depict human and animal figures, the mosaics within the Dome of the Rock are strictly aniconic. Instead, They feature intricate Arabic calligraphy, geometric patterns, and vegetal motifs interspersed with stylized depictions of jewels, crowns, and other regal symbols. These artistic choices reflect the emerging Islamic aesthetic of the period, while still utilizing techniques characteristic of Byzantine and Sasanian art. Arabic inscriptions run along the inner and outer arcades, featuring religious texts and verses from the Quran. These inscriptions emphasize the oneness of God and the prophetic mission of Muhammad, reinforcing the spiritual significance of the site. The choice to inscribe religious messages into the structure itself was a defining feature of early Islamic architecture and helped establish a distinct visual language for Islamic religious buildings. Although the Dome of the Rock was constructed in the late 7th century, Jerusalem had long been a site of great religious importance. Around 1000 BCE, King David captured the city and established it as the capital of the Israelite kingdom. His son, King Solomon, later built the first temple, which became the most sacred place of worship for the Jewish people. The Babylonians destroyed this temple in 586 BCE, and a second temple was constructed in its place. However, in 70 CE, the Romans demolished this second temple, following a Jewish revolt against imperial rule. In 135 CE, the Roman Emperor Hadrian established the city of Aelia Capitolina on the ruins of Jerusalem, further reshaping its religious landscape. By the 4th century, following the conversion of Emperor Constantine I to Christianity, Jerusalem experienced a Christian revival. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built over what was believed to be the site of Jesus' crucifixion, burial, and resurrection, solidifying the city's Christian significance. When Muslim armies, led by Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, conquered Jerusalem in 638 CE, they inherited a city already adorned with magnificent churches, monasteries, and religious institutions. The construction of the Dome of the Rock under Umayyad rule marked a significant Islamic contribution to Jerusalem's religious and architectural heritage. Scholars believe that Abd al-Malik commissioned the shrine in part to reinforce Islamic authority in the region, particularly following internal conflicts within the early Muslim empire. Though the fundamental structure of the Dome of the Rock has remained intact since its completion in 691 to 692 CE, its exterior and interior have undergone multiple renovations. Successive Islamic dynasties, including the Abbasids, Fatimids, and Ayyubids, contributed to the preservation and embellishment of the site. During the Crusader period, 1099 to 1187, Christian rulers controlled Jerusalem and temporarily converted the Dome of the Rock into a church. To prevent Christian pilgrims from taking relics from the sacred rock, a wrought iron fence was erected around it. In the 16th century, the Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent ordered an extensive renovation of the Dome of the Rock, replacing its original mosaics with exquisite ceramic tiles. The Ottoman restoration efforts ensured that the shrine retained its grandeur. More recently, in the 20th century, the Hashemite rulers of Jordan initiated further restoration projects, including the replacement of damaged interior and exterior embellishments and the installation of a new gold covering for the dome. The Dome of the Rock remains one of the most sacred and contested religious monuments in the world. While its primary significance in modern Islam is tied to the Prophet Muhammad's ascension to heaven, this connection was not immediately emphasized in the shrine's earliest inscriptions. Historical records suggest that the association between the Dome of the Rock and the Miraj became more widely recognized by the 11th century. Despite the passage of time, the Dome of the Rock continues to serve as a powerful symbol of faith, history, and cultural identity. Its presence on the Temple Mount makes it a focal point of religious and political tensions, yet it also stands as a testament to the enduring artistic and architectural achievements of early Islamic civilization. As scholars and archaeologists continue to investigate its origins and significance, The Dome of the Rock remains an unparalleled treasure, embodying centuries of spiritual devotion and historical transformation. The Dome of the Rock stands as one of the most iconic structures in the world, revered for its religious, historical, and architectural significance. However, despite its status as an important Islamic landmark, its architectural design presents challenges for Muslim congregational prayer. The ambulatory configuration of the structure, characterized by its circular or polygonal layout, differs significantly from traditional mosques, which typically feature open spaces oriented toward Mecca to facilitate collective prayer. This distinction makes it difficult to integrate the Dome of the Rock into other Islamic religious institutions. Additionally, several architectural elements of the dome suggest an intent to position Islam as the rightful successor to the Abrahamic legacy, a theme evident in its design and inscriptions. Structurally, the Dome of the Rock belongs to a category of Byzantine religious buildings known as martyria, which were often circular or polygonal shrines built to honor saints' tombs or commemorate significant religious events. A notable influence on its design may have been the Kathisma of the Mother of God, a neighboring martyrium whose remnants were discovered in 1992. The dome's grandeur, scale, and elaborate decorations suggest a deliberate effort to compete with the Christian holy sites in Jerusalem, particularly the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which also features a domed structure. The inscriptions adorning the Dome of the Rock play a crucial role in its message. These Arabic inscriptions, which include verses from the Quran, strongly emphasize the oneness of God while rejecting the Christian doctrines of the Trinity and the divinity of Jesus. This ideological assertion aligns with the broader historical and theological context of early Islamic expansion, during which the nascent Muslim community sought to define its beliefs in contrast to existing religious traditions. Some scholars have theorized that the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik, who commissioned the Dome of the Rock in the late 7th century, intended it as a replacement for the Kaaba in Mecca. This argument suggests that he sought to redirect the pilgrimage to Jerusalem, especially during a time when Mecca was controlled by Ibn al-Zubayr, a rival claimant to the caliphate. However, modern historians have cast doubt on this interpretation, pointing out the strong anti-Umayyad bias in Abbasid historical sources, which may have influenced this claim. Furthermore, historical records indicate that the Hajj pilgrimage continued in Mecca even during Ibn al-Zubayr's rule, weakening the argument for Jerusalem's intended replacement. Another interpretation of the dome's purpose centers on eschatology, the study of end-time prophecies. Some researchers argue that its location, architectural features, and decorations align with both Islamic and Byzantine conceptions of the Last Judgment and the afterlife. This perspective suggests that the Dome of the Rock was designed to reflect the celestial realm and serve as a symbolic gateway to the divine. Beyond Islam, the Dome of the Rock holds profound religious significance for other faiths, particularly Judaism. It is situated on the Temple Mount, the site of the former Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Jewish tradition holds that the rock beneath the dome is the foundation stone, a sacred site believed to be the origin point of creation and the location where Abraham prepared to sacrifice his son Isaac. During the Middle Ages, both Christians and Jews associated the Dome of the Rock with the Temple of Solomon, referring to it as Templum Domini. Christian iconography often depicted it as a representation of the biblical temple. Following the conquest of Jerusalem by the Crusaders in 1099, the dome was used as a church and served as the headquarters for the Knights Templar. Many Templar cathedrals in Europe subsequently adopted architectural elements inspired by the Dome of the Rock. This period of Christian control ended in 1187 when the Muslim Ayyubid commander Saladin recaptured Jerusalem and restored the dome to its Islamic function. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Dome of the Rock is the hidden chamber beneath it, commonly referred to as the Well of Souls, Bir al-Arwa in Arabic. According to Islamic legend, This underground grotto is where the souls of the departed gather in anticipation of the Day of Judgment. However, mainstream Sunni Islam does not generally endorse this belief. Additionally, a myth persists that the rock above the Well of Souls miraculously floats without any physical support, though this claim is a later legend rather than a historical fact. The Well of Souls is located within the foundation stone, which itself is partly natural and partly shaped by human hands. During the Crusades, Christian tradition identified the cave as the Holy of Holies, the most sacred inner chamber of the Jewish temple. This belief was likely influenced by the assumption that the Jewish temple once stood directly atop the foundation stone. Recent scholarly studies suggest that this might indeed have been the case, strengthening the idea that the Dome of the Rock occupies a location of immense historical and religious significance. Islamic traditions also attribute great importance to the site. According to medieval Islamic mythology, the foundation stone is the place from which the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the night journey, Isra and Miraj. One legend states that as Muhammad ascended, the rock attempted to follow him, and the hand of the archangel Gabriel had to stop it, leaving an imprint that is still venerated today. Islamic and Jewish traditions both contain references to hidden mysteries beneath the foundation stone. The Talmud suggests that the stone covers the abyss, Abzu, containing the waters of the Great Flood, while some Muslim sources describe it as being situated above an endless pit, with the waters of paradise flowing beneath it. The 9th century Muslim historian Al-Tabari linked the stone to the remnants of the Jewish temple, suggesting that the Romans buried its remains there after its destruction in 70 CE. Speculations about what lies beneath the Dome of the Rock continue to captivate scholars and religious enthusiasts alike. Recently, controversy arose when Muslim authorities overseeing the site installed new flooring without informing Israeli archaeologists. The removal of old carpeting revealed previously undocumented ancient floor patterns, sparking intense debate among researchers who suspect that these motifs might provide clues to the whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred artifact said to have been housed in the First Temple. However, since the patterns were not documented before new carpeting was installed, reportedly funded by King Abdullah II of Jordan, this potential archaeological discovery remains shrouded in mystery. The ongoing fascination with the Dome of the Rock stems not only from its stunning architecture, but also from its deep historical and religious significance. Whether viewed as a monument of Islamic triumph, a link to Jewish temple history, or a relic of Christian crusader rule, the Dome of the Rock continues to be a subject of intense scholarly and theological debate. Its unique blend of myth, history, and religious symbolism ensures that it will remain one of the most enigmatic and revered landmarks in the world. The Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, which includes the iconic Dome of the Rock, has long been a focal point of religious, political, and archaeological tensions. The site, which holds deep significance for both Muslims and Jews, has once again become the center of controversy due to ongoing construction and renovation efforts. Israeli archaeological authorities have expressed outrage over what they claim to be unauthorized repairs carried out by the Muslim authority, known as the Waqf, which administers the site. According to Israeli experts, the repairs involve the use of glue that could potentially cause irreversible damage to the ancient stone flooring. The controversy escalated when Uri Ariel, Israel's Minister of Housing and a prominent member of the nationalist Jewish Home Party, intervened. He penned an urgent letter to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, warning about the possible consequences of the renovations. In his letter, Ariel emphasized the critical importance of the site, noting that every modification, no matter how small, and every excavation involving heavy machinery could pose a serious risk to the foundational integrity of what some believe to be the remnants of the ancient Jewish temple. On the other side, Sheikh Azam Tamimi, a key leader of the Waqf, defended the restoration work, arguing that it was long overdue. He dismissed Israeli concerns as baseless, asserting that the Waqf's operations at Al-Aqsa have always been transparent. "All we are doing is laying down carpet and felt, not one iota more, not one iota less," Tamimi insisted. The Waqf further stated that the renovations would not cause any harm to the site, addressing allegations that the work could compromise its structural integrity. A group of Jordanian carpet layers, who had obtained Israeli visas to carry out the project, explained the process. Tuma al-Quda, one of the workers, described the necessity of attaching a base layer of felt before rolling out the carpet. Rubbing his fingers together, he demonstrated how the felt material was harmless and did not cause damage. Despite these reassurances, Israeli authorities remained skeptical and continued to raise concerns about the broader implications of the work being done at the Dome of the Rock. This latest dispute is not the first of its kind. Jerusalem, often described as the most excavated city in the world, sits atop layers of history that are often at the heart of political and religious disputes. However, the Dome of the Rock and its surrounding plaza have never been properly excavated due to the extreme sensitivities surrounding the site. Revered as the holiest site in Judaism and the third holiest in Islam, the area is a historical and archaeological goldmine, one that remains largely unexplored. One of the most contentious moments in recent history occurred in 1999 when Muslim authorities overseeing the compound excavated a massive hole, 12 meters, 40 feet deep, to create an underground prayer area. This excavation resulted in the removal of approximately 10,000 tons of earth, which was unceremoniously dumped into a nearby valley and East Jerusalem landfill sites. At the time, the director of the Israeli Antiquities Authority condemned the move as an archaeological crime. In response to the unauthorized excavation, a group of Israeli archaeologists, led by Dr. Gabriel Barkay and Dr. Zaki Devira, initiated the Temple Mount Sifting Project. This initiative, which has been ongoing for several years, involves meticulously examining the discarded earth to recover lost artifacts that might provide insights into the site's rich history. The project operates under the auspices of the Elad Foundation, an organization known for purchasing Arab homes in contested areas of East Jerusalem and facilitating the settlement of Jewish families in these locations. Critics argue that archaeology and nationalist ambitions should not be intertwined, warning that such projects have political motivations beyond their stated academic purposes. Further complicating matters, a 2010 report by Israel's state comptroller heavily criticized both the Waqf's unauthorized activities within the compound and Israel's failure to enforce oversight effectively. The report, however, was kept secret due to concerns that its publication could damage Israel's delicate diplomatic relationship with Jordan, which maintains a special role as custodian of Islamic holy sites in Jerusalem. Renovations at Al-Aqsa have historically been a sensitive issue. Tens of thousands of worshippers attend Friday prayers at the mosque, and the carpeting inside has been replaced multiple times over the years. The most recent large-scale replacement occurred 12 years ago during a period of heightened tensions. At that time, Israeli antiquities officials were granted limited access to the site, but the process was carried out discreetly, away from public scrutiny. This time, however, the situation played out very differently. The current controversy erupted after leaked images of the renovations surfaced on social media, triggering outrage among Israeli nationalists and religious groups. These images brought increased public attention to the restoration work and led to renewed scrutiny of the Waqf's activities. One of the most concerning discoveries came from Frankie Snyder, a researcher involved with the Temple Mount Sifting Project. According to Snyder, the leaked images revealed previously undocumented geometric floor patterns beneath the Dome of the Rock. These patterns, she noted, appear to date back to the Crusader period in the 12th century, a time when Christian forces controlled the site. Dr. Barkay, one of the lead archaeologists studying the Temple Mount, voiced his deep concerns about the potential loss of valuable historical data. He argued that any modifications to the site without proper archaeological oversight risk erasing irreplaceable evidence of its past. Unlike other historic sites, the Temple Mount has never been subjected to systematic excavation, making each new discovery all the more critical. The loss of these geometric patterns before they could be properly documented, he warned, represented yet another missed opportunity to uncover crucial details about the site's layered history. In response to these concerns, the Israeli Antiquities Authority took action as soon as they learned about the renovation efforts. They reached an agreement with the Waqf to allow an archaeologist to document some of the uncovered floor patterns. However, by the time they were granted access, portions of the floor had already been covered with maroon-colored carpeting, obscuring the findings. Israel Hassan, the director of the Israeli Antiquities Authority, acknowledged the limitations of their efforts. "We were able to examine some of the patterns, but not all of them," he admitted. When asked if Israeli authorities would request the removal of the newly laid carpets to complete their documentation, Hassan dismissed the idea, stating, "We shall hold off till the next available chance, in the next 2,000 years." The debate surrounding the Dome of the Rock's renovation is emblematic of the broader tensions that define Jerusalem's Old City. For many Jews, the site represents the location of the First and Second Temples, making any construction or alteration a matter of deep religious and historical concern. For Muslims, Al-Aqsa is a sacred site of worship and a symbol of their religious and national identity. These overlapping claims ensure that every stone turned and every artifact uncovered becomes a flashpoint for controversy. The latest chapter in this long-running saga highlights the challenges of preserving Jerusalem's heritage while navigating its complex religious and political landscape. With no clear resolution in sight, the Dome of the Rock remains a contested space, one where faith, history, and geopolitics continue to collide. What are your thoughts on this situation? Do you believe archaeological preservation should take precedence over religious practices? Or should the focus be on maintaining the sacred status quo? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on this and other fascinating mysteries. See you next time.